Hi guys, my name is Eliza and this is Eliza's Bookshelf. Today I'm going to go over my favorite reads of September. And I think I'm kind of splitting them out from like my favorite reads, and I'll do another video for not so favorite reads, but these were my favorite ones that I read, and I was going through them and a lot of good books actually. Let's see how many books I read in September. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so these are my 5 favorite books. I think I rated them all 5 stars. Oh my gosh, I had a lot of good 5-star reads, and I'll put some honorable mentions at the end too, like books that I thought were enjoyable, that I liked, but not necessarily top tier. Yeah, so let's get started. No real order here, just based on whatever I have on my stack here. So the first one is You Again, and I think this was actually in my September Book of the Month pick. It is by Kate Goldbeck. This is my first book from this person. I don't know if it is their debut or not. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's so cute. It was said to be like enemies to friends to lovers, but it's about these two people. He's like a chef. He's a really good cook. I forgot what she does, but her life just seems like a big mess. But they met years ago when she was like roommates with this other person in like an apartment, and he was dating that girl and she was kind of sleeping with her too, so it's like really messy, right? And they just like keep meeting each other throughout the years, and then finally when they're both single they met each other again, and they are kind of in a miserable point in their life, and they just commiserate together and they become really close, and one day, you know, they're more than friends and they're just working through that. Like, it's really hard for her to have a committed relationship. I think she has a lot of stuff that she went through in the past, and she's like, what is the point of all this? You know, I don't want to be dating seriously, but he really falls for her, and oh, it's just so messy. Initially, I did not think that I would like this book as much as I did, because I was like, it is so slow in the beginning. Like, you would think after a while they, I don't know, get the story started, but there's like this much build up to them and their flashback days, I think. I may be lying, I actually don't know, but it just felt like it was so much of the, you know, back and forth from back then. It was kind of like building up to their relationship now. So yeah, it was kind of slow in the beginning, and like things get really messy. It's very like realistic in terms of how messy the relationship is, and so I was like, man, I thought I was in for a fluffy rom-com, but I was wrong. Overall though, I did like the ending so much that I bumped it up to like one of my favorite reads this year for romances. And what happened in the end? Oh yeah, I remember. Oh my god, it's so cute. Just thinking about it makes me giddy again. So that's one of my top reads. The next one is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This one has been making the rounds, like on Bookstagram and stuff. People have been saying they love it so much, so I finally read it, and I liked it as well. Did I read it physically? I don't know. I think I maybe read it physically with my eyes just a little bit, but I did most of it on audio, and I thought the audiobook was so good. And that just makes me so happy, because I am kind of a stickler or really picky when it comes to narrators. And this one was just so good. So I might do Foxglove on audiobook as well, if I can get my hands on it on Libby. But Signa Farrow has been alive. The people in her life have fallen like stars. It's just so sad. So Signa Farrow, this character, everyone around her just keeps dying, but she has some sort of immunity, like she's immune to death. Whenever she comes close to it, nope, she just gets pulled back and is just alive again. So she doesn't technically die. She's always like on the cusp of nearly being there, but she never dies. But whenever she gets close to dying, she sees death himself. And so a lot of her family members keep dying, and there's a situation at another house that she goes to, and she's like trying to figure out, did this person actually die? Like, what is going on with her family, right? And so she is getting the help from Death himself to try to figure it out. And Death is like, I don't know what's going on. If I knew, I would tell you, but let's figure it out together, I guess. And it's so darn cute. I love the ending. The ending was also like open-ended, so it kind of set up for the next book, which I'm so excited for, Foxglove. I will be reading it soon. And then this one is a reread for me. I'm so silly. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I meant to be reading this in October, but I just couldn't wait, and so I read it. I read this one the second time I read it was on audio, and I was kind of hesitant, but actually the audiobook is pretty good. Like the narrator is very passionate at sometimes where it made me cry the second time around, whereas the first time I read it, I did not cry. But yes, this is a reread for me. If you don't know what it's about like this Basgath War College where you enter and then you go into different quadrants. You have the healer's quadrant, scribe, something else that I always forget. I don't know. And then you have the writer's quadrant, which is where our main character goes. They train to be dragon riders in order to fight in this war that they're ongoing with. The second book I think will open up more into like the outside world and what the war entails. But oh my gosh, the ending is just so darn crazy. If you already read this, you know what I'm talking about. But the book comes out, the second book comes out in less than a month, so I'm so excited. Next is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Yeah, Gillig. So this book, I've never read anything like this book. You have this girl named Elspeth Spindle, and she was infected a long time ago. And if you get infected, you have like this weird magical manifestation, and you don't know what that is until maybe later on. And so Elspeth, her magical manifestation, it's not something you can see. So she was able to hide it for years and years and years. But her magical thing is that she has this monster inside her head, like talking to her. But yeah, she like bumps into this highwayman and gets into this scheme along with them in order to save the city of Blunder from this mist or this thing that's been infecting people, right? And then you have these like other thing. You have like these set of cards, a set of 12 cards, where depending on the card that you can have specific powers based on that. So it's a whole big thing, but it's like a great new magical world. Very unique. I've never read anything like this before. Two Twisted Crowns comes out in a couple days, and I have it pre-ordered. But silly me, I like this book so much that I requested the second book on NetGalley, and they actually just approved it. So I have like 2 days to read it and review it. And my copy comes in, like my physical copy comes in 2 days too. I don't know, my life is a mess right now, but this is one of my favorite books of September. And then the other one I don't have physically, I gave it to my mom, and she was so excited to read it too. Actually, she was not that excited, but after I raved and raved about it, she's like, you know, getting more into it, and she's reading it, which is saying a lot because she's not really good at English. She mainly speaks and reads Vietnamese. And so the book is The Best We Could Do. Shout out to Melody for introducing me to this book. It is a graphic novel by T. Bui. It's basically her illustrated memoir. And initially I thought it was going to be more relatable for my mom. And I was like telling my siblings and stuff like that I was like, hey, we should read it to really understand what mom went through. Like she tells us all the time, right? But the way she tells us, it's like she's yelling it at us. So it's hard for us to hear. But basically when I read it though, I was like, oh, a lot of this stuff I can relate to, like being a mom and stuff like that, and how it's really scary. Try not to take their traumas and pass it on to your kids and stuff like that. So, oh my gosh, it was just so heartbreaking. I was like taking pictures of so many pages and sending it to my friend. I was like, oh my gosh, read this book, please. So it is definitely kind of a hard read, but it is a pretty quick one because it is a graphic novel that I kind of flew by, and I love the art. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she did the art in there as well. But anyways, those are my top 5 books of September. You have One Dark Window, Fourth Wing, Belladonna, You Again, and then we have The Best We Could Do. Some honorable mentions, which I did enjoy, but I didn't think it was my favorite or anything like that. It was The Fine Print by Laura Asher. That is #1 in the Dreamland Billionaires. It's kind of like a theme park romance type of thing, like Disneyland. So that one was good. What else did I like? I liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Not as much as I think some other people did, but I did enjoy it. I will continue on with the series. That's about it. Yeah, some other books were not really good, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed me talking about my favorite reads of September, and I will see you next time. Bye.